Hi, welcome back to my channel. For those who don't know me, my name is Katharine, and on today's video, I'm going to be taking myself out on a solo date. This is part of my Vlogtober series, which is one video leading up to Halloween, including on Halloween as well. And one of the favorite things that I like to do during the fall time, or like just any time, but specifically during the fall when it's like cozy and the colder weather is coming out, I love to take myself out on solo dates. So essentially what that means, exactly what it sounds like, basically I like to do all of the things that I like to do by myself and taking myself out essentially on like a solo date. That usually includes me taking myself out to the movies by myself, going out to lunch or dinner by myself, and then also going to the bookstore by myself. So as you can see, I am at Barnes & Noble right now. I'm in the parking lot. I'm gonna go in right now, and I'm really excited to go in. I'm not like the biggest Barnes & Noble stan like a lot of other people on BookTube are, but I do appreciate it. It does have a large selection, so that's always a good indicator of like a good bookstore, that it has a good selection. But I have been making like a huge shift in like what I've been reading. I've been really learning like what my taste in books are, and I'm really shifting towards like Christian fiction. My favorite genre has to be Christian historical romance, and I'm gonna go in there, go to their religious section. They don't have like necessarily like a Christian section, but they do have a religious section that includes like Muslim, Jewish, and Christian books, and they even have like Bibles and stuff in that section too, but they also have like Christian fiction in that section. I've just been feeling really convicted over reading secular books because a lot of it usually has a lot of spice in it, that meaning that it has a lot of sexual content, which I'm just not into. I have struggled with sexual sin in the past, and I just don't want to tempt myself to be into that again. I do want to save myself for marriage this time around, like meaning that I want to just save sex for marriage and for my husband that I eventually will marry one day. And I just don't want to put myself in a situation to tempt myself, including reading books with sexual content in it or that has spice in it. But I also find that like a lot of the books that are in the secular realm have a lot of demonic undertones, or like maybe even straight out demonic messaging. So I don't really appreciate that, just because it goes against my beliefs as a Christian. And then also I just find that a lot of the secular books don't have like a lot of depth to them. Like I love books that have depth to them, and I feel like a lot of secular fiction, it tends to be a little bit more on the fluffy side, at least the secular books that I've read. I thought I was going to be into like rom-com-y type books with like the cartoon covers when I started reading for the first time again. Like I really loved reading when I was a kid, and I thought like as an adult like I'd love the rom-com books, but I found out that I'm not. I liked books that have more depth to them, and I just find those like secular rom-com type books have a lot of fluff. I bet a lot of Christian rom-com books are fluffy too, but at least there's like some sort of like Christian undertone to it, where there's like something that I can gain out of the book. So I'm gonna go in there. I have a few books that I have on my radar, on my like want to read list, or my to be read list, or TBR list if you want to call it that. So I'm gonna go in there. I don't know if I'm gonna get anything today, but I'm just here for the vibes. Like I said, this is a solo date for me, so if I go in there and end up not finding anything, not a big deal. At least like I brought myself in there and I have a good time. But let's see what there is in there. So I made it to like the Christian fiction section. It's in the religion area of Barnes & Noble, and I'm kind of disappointed by the selection. Like, they do have a section, which granted I'm grateful for, because some bookstores like don't have even like a Christian fiction section, but like, see where this like barrier is, like right here, like from here over to like the end of the aisle, like that's all it is, like to the end of that bookshelf right there, like just this section is Christian fiction. So there's like not a ton of books available here, but I'll take what I can get. Like I said, I'm not like a huge like Barnes and Noble person, just because like they offer a lot of just like secular fiction and only have like a limited selection of Christian fiction, but they do tend to have like Christian fiction here, but it just tends to be obviously a small selection, whereas like other bookstores like may not even have a section like I mentioned. But like, I like to also support local bookstores, so if I can find like a local Christian bookstore, that's what I'm trying to say, that I can support, I'll do that, because like I just find like these big companies like Barnes & Noble, Amazon is also a large business that sells books. I'd rather just like support a local business rather than those big companies. That's also another reason why I'm not a big fan of Barnes & Noble, but like, I like to physically see the books, so I won't be opposed to coming here if I can see some of my books that are on my to be read list or my TBR list. I'm not opposed to coming and seeing them, but like, I would rather just like find Christian local bookstores or local Christian bookstores to find that stuff. And I have actually in the past, in one of my Vlogtober videos that I've already posted, I did visit a Christian bookstore, and if you haven't watched that yet, go watch it, because it was my first local Christian bookstore in my area that I've been to in New England, in Massachusetts, and New Hampshire area. So that was really fun to do. And then I'm probably going to go to their other location, because they do have a second location. It's called Morning Star Books, I believe that's what it's called. They don't just sell like fiction books, but Christian fiction books, but they also sell like Bibles and Christian gifts and stuff like that. It's more of like a Christian bookstore more than anything. But yeah, I'm gonna visit their other location that they have, because they have two locations like I said, and then I'm gonna try to find more local Christian bookstores in my area. But let me see what they have here on the shelves to see if there's anything on here that I want. Barnes & Noble. I was honestly kind of discouraged because they didn't have like a huge selection of like Christian fiction books, and I didn't know if I was going to leave with a book today. But there was one book that I was tempted to get when I was at that Morningstar like Christian gift store, bookstore that I went to in one of my prior Vlogtober videos that you probably already seen. If you haven't seen it, go watch it. But basically, this specific book, when I read the back of it, like really intrigued me. So when I saw it in Barnes & Noble today, I felt like it was like a sign to get it. But that is Wherever You Go by Tracy Peterson. I just like literally love the cover of this. The girl on the cover, I'm assuming she's the main female character, looks like she takes no bull crap. She definitely looks like a rough and tough cowgirl. If I do say so myself, I wish I was her. But I'm going to read the synopsis to you. It says, Mary Reichert is one of the best sharpshooters in the country, and in the Brookstone Wild West extravaganza, her skills are on display in every performance. But Mary will never be able to rest until the man who killed her brother is brought to justice. She feels helpless in the face of the murderer's money, power, and connections, however, and the only bright spot in her days is the handsome journalist who keeps attending the show. Christopher Williams has been assigned to follow the Brookstone show on its 1901 tour and write a series of magazine articles, and he finds himself irresistibly drawn to the show's sharpshooter. But getting close to someone would threaten to bring his family's history to light. How could he ever win Mary's heart if she knew the truth? Mary and Chris will both have to trust God in order to heal from their past. So, as I mentioned before at the beginning of this video, I am like a Christian historical romance girly. That's what I'm realizing. I love Redeeming Love by Francine Rivers. I love Where the Lost Wander by Amy Harmon. And I'm sure that I will love this too. I just like love this time period in particular, like in the West. I feel like it's just like the wild, wild West, like, and if you throw romance in there too, like, it's golden, like, I'm in love. So I'm sure I'll like this. I think this is a part of a series. I don't think they're, like, supposed to be read in order, like, not supposed to. Like, I don't think you need to read them in order is what I'm trying to say. But I think they're more, like, interconnected series. It's more of an internet-connected series, what I'm trying to say. So you don't have to, like, read them in order, but, like, I think the author, Tracy Peterson, like, prefers you to read it in order, if I'm not mistaken, if that's from what I understand about the series. So I'm excited to read this in the near future. This is Editing Katharine coming to you because I mistakenly told you that this may have been the first in a series. It's not. I literally just noticed the small little lettering on the top that it's part of the Brookstone Bride series by Tracy Peterson, and it's book number 2. I'm stupid. I'm literally the blondest person I know. So, like it says, it's called Wherever You Go, and I saw it at that Morningstar Christian gift store, bookstore, whatever you want to call it. It doesn't just carry books, it carries like Christian gifts too, so I guess it's a gift store. But I saw this at that Morningstar like Christian gift store, and the synopsis really intrigued me, but I didn't end up getting it at the time. I ended up getting 3 other books, but since I saw this at Barnes & Noble today, I literally just snagged it and didn't realize that it was the second in a series. So I guess I'm going to have to buy the first one because apparently I tried to look it up and see if like I could read them out of order, but apparently you can't. Like, even though they're like sort of like interconnected standalones, they're really not. Like, you do have to read them in order, like, to fully understand like each individual character's story. So like, from what I understand from like the synopsises of like each book from the Brookstone Bride series, is that like each book, there's 3 books in the series, that they each book follows like a different character from the Brookstone Wild West extravaganza team. So they like travel around in the Wild West. As you can imagine, it's like an all-women's team of people who travel around performing and stuff. So like each individual book follows like each separate characters' stories, but like you do have to read them in order to fully understand like each love story. Does that make sense? So like one leads to the next and to the next, even though they're about like 3 different characters. You do have to read it in order to understand like the next love story or the next romance book. So I guess I'm gonna have to buy the first one. They all seem pretty intriguing, so like I don't mind buying like the rest of the books in the series in order to read this one. So like I said, this is the second book in the series, so I have to buy at least book 1 in order to get to this one. So yeah, I'm gonna have to buy the first one, which I think I'll have to look up the name, but I'm gonna be buying the first one in the series. But that's just editing Katharine there. I'm trying to stock up my shelves a little bit more. I did a lot of unhauls recently just because like I'm just not loving the selection that I had of my books, so I'm glad that I got this book to kind of restock my sad shelves a little bit more. But right now I'm gonna go on my next stop on my solo date, and I'm gonna take myself out to lunch at Panera Bread, because who doesn't love Panera Bread? And I feel like if I'm gonna take myself out to eat, at least it's not gonna be like a full sit-down restaurant where I have to like tip the server and stuff and like feel like all awkward with the hostess and stuff. So at least Panera Bread, like it is somewhat of a sit-down restaurant, but like it's less stuffy, less proper, less formal, I should say, than like an actual sit-down restaurant. Like all you do is like order at the counter and then bring it to a table. And if you are interested in ever like taking yourself out to eat like alone, Panera Bread is like a great option because it's like very low pressure, low stakes, may I add. I don't know if that would be like a term I should use, but like it's not a lot of pressure to go to Panera Bread by yourself, because I personally see a lot of people at Panera Bread like sitting by themselves, like working on their computers or like reading and stuff like that. So I don't feel so awkward going to Panera Bread like eating by myself. And then at this specific Panera Bread, it's like at a mall, and at the mall is also a movie theater. So after I eat at Panera Bread, I'm gonna go watch Beetlejuice. I already ordered my tickets online, and that actually reminds me I probably should order my Panera Bread online, because like I mentioned, I don't want there to be a lot of pressure when I'm like eating out alone. So I don't want to have like a lot of human interaction. So I'm gonna order my Panera Bread order online too, and then watch Beetlejuice, which is like the sequel to the original Beetlejuice that came out like decades ago, because this is Vlogtober, it's October, so I wanted to watch like a somewhat Halloween-y movie in this vlog to get into the Halloween spirit. So let's get to Panera because I'm hangry, and then I'm gonna probably go to Five Below to get some candy because it's like right across from where the movie theater is, like in the mall, because they have like dollar candy, if I'm not mistaken, or at least it's really cheap. It's like $1 or $2 maybe at most, and then I'm gonna go to the movie, so follow along. I'm at AMC right now to watch Beetlejuice in theaters. I'm really excited because for those who know me, who like know me, know that going to the movies is like therapy to me. I used to have like the AMC like A-list stubs membership thing where you paid like $20 a month and you could like basically see like any amount of movies that you want, up to like 3 per week or something like that. I have yet to get it back. Like I canceled it a while back just because like I feel like there aren't a lot of good movies out recently in like the past few years. I got it when I think there was like a lot of Disney movies coming out, but like now there aren't even like good Disney movies coming out anymore. Like Disney is still releasing like a lot of movies, but like they're not necessarily good in my opinion. So I'm just like not about to get a membership again if I'm like not interested in the movies that are being put out there. I just wanted to come see Beetlejuice because it's like the sequel to the original Beetlejuice. Like I'm not like a big Beetlejuice person in general or like Halloween movie person in general, but like I just thought I'd come here because October is like upon us and like Halloween is upon us, and like why not? Like I haven't gone to the movies in such a long time, like especially going in there like by myself, like alone, like in the dark. I don't know how else to explain it other than being therapeutic. I'm not like the biggest Beetlejuice fan like I said before, or like Halloween movie person in general, but like I'm just gonna go in there and watch it and just enjoy being at the movies. So let's go. This looks like literally so creepy. I feel like I'm like in a horror movie right now with this lighting, but I'm at my spot. I usually like to sit on like the top row of the movie theater, and I'm the only person in the movie theater right now, but like I mentioned, I did go get lunch at Panera, and then I also stopped by Five Below, got some watermelon Sour Patch Kids. They're my favorite Sour Patch candy. And then I was feeling something like chocolatey too, so I got like the Cadbury Carmelo candies. It's like chocolate with like caramel inside, and I thought that would taste really good. This lighting is so creepy, by the way. I thought I mentioned that before, but it's just like creeping me out. I feel like I'm in a horror movie right now. But yeah, those are the two candies that I got. They're like $1.50 each. And then I also got a water, just to have a water. This was like $1 too, so it came out to be like $4 after tax. So I'm gonna wait until this movie comes on. I hope I'm the only one in the theater because I love when I'm like the only one in the theater. It's kind of creepy when you're the only one in the theater, but it's also like really therapeutic. So let's watch this. Also, I don't know if you can see it. No, you can't. It's so dark in here. But they have like the reclining seats, and I love the reclining seats. Whenever I get like the normal movie theater chairs now, like if I go to the movies, I'm always complaining. I'm like, why can't we have like the recliner seats? Because they're just like so comfortable. You can like basically lay back. And I don't think I mentioned this, but I got the mac and cheese bread bowl with the green tea papaya drink. That's like my go-to whenever I go to Panera. It's just so good. It's so bad for you, but it's delicious. It's like a treat for me because like I just recently lost like 100 pounds. So I don't mind getting that like once in a while, kind of as like a treat, but like it's not like an everyday thing for me. But yeah, that is what I got. It was delicious, but I'm gonna now enjoy my little Sour Patch watermelons and my Carmelo Cadbury chocolate thing, whatever it is. This is my first time that I've gotten it, but it looked really good. So yeah, I can't wait to see this movie. As you can clearly tell, I'm back in my car. Even though the lighting is great in here, I feel disheveled. Like every time I get out of a movie, even though it feels very therapeutic to me, I always feel very out of place whenever I get out of one. That's why I like going to the movies at night. I mean, it is night right now. I think it's around 5 p.m., but like, it's not dark out. That's what I'm trying to say. But even though this lighting, like I said, is great right now, I just feel so out of it. Like, I don't know how to describe Beetlejuice. Like, other than the fact that, like, I'm not a huge fan of the original Beetlejuice, like I mentioned before. And after seeing this, which is like the sequel to that, I don't know, it's just interesting. It's like not my type of a movie. It's a Tim Burton movie, which makes sense because it's very interesting. And I also fell asleep like 2 times while I was in the theater. Like, I did not expect to fall asleep. Like, I didn't get much sleep last night, but I don't normally fall asleep when I'm in the movie theater. I just found it very boring yet interesting. Yeah, that's my review. I'm not a good movie reviewer. That's not my thing. I mostly review books. But yeah, I would not expect to use interesting and boring in the same sentence to describe a movie, but it was interesting because it was a Tim Burton movie, and boring because I fell asleep twice in the movie theater. Even though I didn't get much sleep last night, I think even if I got enough sleep last night, I still would have fallen asleep in the movie just because it's just not my type of a movie. But yeah, that was my solo date for the day. I went to the bookstore, Barnes & Noble. I got a book. I went to Panera for lunch, and then I went to the movies by myself. Did all of it by myself. And I hope this encourages you to do things by yourself too, and to get out of your comfort zone. If no one else wants to do something with you, you just go do it because you can. And I hope that gives you the courage because I did it and you can do it too. But yeah, I'm going to head out for the day. Thank you for watching today's video. I enjoyed making it. I hope you enjoyed watching it. Do all the YouTube things that you know how to do. Like, comment, and subscribe, and I'll see you in my next video. Bye!